So much of what I have done and learned over the past couple of years has been on the other side of my comfort zone. Hi, friend. Welcome to Gather and Growth, a show created for passionate, growth-focused rural women like you. From mindset work and building strong habits to exploring the unique joys and challenges of living rural, this is a show to leave you feeling joyful, inspired, and a little less alone. Together, we're on a journey of reaching for the most confident, healthy, and authentic version of ourselves, and I'm forever grateful to have you by my side. Whether you're currently running on a back road, shuffling kids to town, hopping along for a tractor ride, or 3 loads deep into folding laundry, grab yourself a nice coffee and let's dive in. Hello, friends, and welcome back to Gather and Growth. I am sitting here today 12 hours away from leaving to fly across the country to go on a retreat. I have not done something like this since summer of 2021. I have been the person hosting retreats over the past couple of years, but I am investing a lot of time, effort, energy, and money into my own personal and professional growth this week. I sat down to record a podcast episode. I was going to do a solo show about cultivating deep, meaningful friendships, which is definitely something I want to come back to because it's just been something that's on my mind a lot lately. But literally, as I was about to hit record, I texted Jill, my podcast producer, and I said, oh my gosh, what if I recorded a little bit now and then a little bit multiple times this week and put together like a vlog style compilation of my experience this week so you can see in real time what my thoughts are and what I'm experiencing. I don't know how it's going to go. I guess it means that I'm packing my microphone now, but it's going to be good. And right now I have a baby on my lap. So if you have right on cue, if you hear cute baby noises, that's her. In 12, 11 hours, I'm leaving in the middle of the night to drive down to St. Louis and catch like a 5 something in the morning flight out to Utah. I am going to Zion National Park for Susie Holman's retreat. And I'm really excited about the way that this is set up. It's going to be a retreat, then a virtual mastermind, and then we come back together in person in October. And I think the format of it's going to be really stinking cool. I feel surprisingly, maybe not surprisingly, but I feel very calm. The last time I did something like this, it was like the first time I had ever done something like that. And I was filled with like doubt and stress and, oh my gosh, am I making the right decision? And do I belong there? And what are they going to think of me? Am I cool enough? Like, blah, 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 blah. Like, how selfish am I to take time away? All of that. And I know that those thoughts are rampant for so many women that I know as they prepare to leave and take leaps into the unknown, especially for experiences like this. But I feel really grounded and really good about this. The one worry I have is we've been having some struggles with little one taking bottles, although she's starting to rock it. But I do worry about how bedtime and overnight and all of that's going to go. Andrew is 1000% fully capable, but 3 kids, one of which is a baby, is kind of a lot. And it's planting season. And right now they're out of the field because of the rain and we have lots of rain in the forecast, but you just never know this time of year. Though I do have, I think worries might be the best word. We have both decided it is not best for me to take her so that I can fully focus on the experience at hand. And me staying home and not going also isn't a logical option. So we're going to do the hard thing and we're going to come out stronger and better on the other side. I have little pressure or expectations on myself of what's in store this week. I am just coming in like with an open mind and an open heart and totally open and receptive energy. I mean, I've mentioned on the podcast several times, I know something is coming. There's something that's bubbling inside of me that's meant to come out that I think is the next evolution of not only my business, but really, thought leadership and the way that I am guiding and leading out in this space. as a podcast host and as a content creator and as a coach and mentor, I know, because I have been on the other side of this many times, just how much can be drawn out when you get outside of your day-to-day, get totally outside of your comfort zone with totally different people who don't have many preconceived notions about you or who you are or who you serve or what you've done. I do know one person that's going, Lindsay from Chilled Freezer Meals. That was not purposeful. We both signed up and then I started talking about it on stories and she's like, wait, I'm going too. So we are meeting up tomorrow afternoon and sharing a car and a hotel room before the retreat begins. So it's exciting to have one friend in my corner that I'm looking to grow that relationship with. I guess that's all for now. Prayers for safe travels and getting to St. Louis and off the ground well. And the weather's going to be beautiful and hot. I am mostly packed. I have like a list of the last minute, like throw the toiletries and the chargers and all of that stuff in the suitcase. But otherwise, I look like a walking, talking bag of Skittles according to what's packed, which is very on brand for me in life and business and beyond. So I am giddy, excited, but also just have a deep, profound sense of peace around it. And I'm really excited about what's in store. I will continue to update as we go. Okay, I should have recorded this last night on the actual travel day itself, but by the end of it, I was in fact a walking zombie. I left my house at exactly 1:09 in the morning, drove to St. Louis, did all of the airport things, flew to Phoenix, had a layover, and then found myself here in Utah. And I'm here with Lindsay.
Am I talking?
Well, now you are. I don't know if they can even hear you from across the room. And we stayed in a fancy hotel last night and just chilled out. So if nothing else from this experience, my takeaway is highly recommend booking a fancy hotel for 24 hours and eating at the delicious restaurant downstairs and going up to the rooftop and basking in the sunshine and going to bed early. I did manage to go on a 2-mile run last night, which was part out of curiosity for what is even around this hotel, and part also because I knew that the 26 minutes or so of suck would make me feel accomplished. And it did. But goodness gracious, I should have recorded this last night when I sounded like The Walking Dead. I think about halfway through dinner, I actually half fell asleep. Lindsay can confirm. But we are here. We are up and ready. We got up this morning to catch the sunrise on the roof, but the sunrise rose on the side of the roof where the building is. But we still went downstairs, watched it from the street as I pumped milk, which is oh so glamorous. And now we are ready to take on the retreat. We feel refreshed. We feel excited, a little nervous, just because we're not quite sure what to expect. But I know from being on the other side of this that it's all going to be wonderful and it's all going to work out. So this is my check-in. We'll report back later. I'm back. Okay, first of all, LOL to the fact that I thought I was going to sit down and record every night of my trip. I really did think about it, but every time I got back to my Airstream, okay, so the place we were staying, it was called Auto Camp Zion. I think that they have these types of places in more locations than just at Zion, but we're like a couple miles out of Zion National Park. There's like a whole lot of just adorable little Airstream campers. Is that the word I'm looking for? But you like walk in and there's like a little bedroom, a like fancy spa style bathroom, a whole little sitting area. Anyway, adorable. But I get back at the end of the night, which is like midnight most nights. And I look at my microphone in the heap on my suitcase and go, I actually don't know what just happened. I don't even know what I would say, which might have made for some fascinating content for you. But I was just so emotionally tapped at the end of the day, at midnight, there is not even a way I could have done it. So here I am a few days removed. I got back at like 3:00 in the morning on Thursday night / Friday morning. Like once it's 3 a.m., is it the next day? Do we even categorize it in the night before, even if you didn't sleep? I don't know. But I got home at 3 a.m. Friday is like catching up on sleep. I had one mastermind call to make up for when I was gone. And then just like, I don't even know. Just trying to catch up on life. Saturday, we planted trees all day long because why not? And then yesterday, Sunday, was just putting our house and life back together. Do you ever have those days? So we like go to town, we get groceries, we come back. Mind you, not only had I personally been gone for, about a week at this point, but before that was like however many weeks of planting. Before that, Andrew had been super sick. So like we had been in, I don't want to say survival mode, but just in like basic functionality mood as a family for quite a minute. And I know some of you are laughing because when this happens, it's all fine and well until you look around the house and you're like, WTF happened here? That's what we were at yesterday. It was not the kind of cleaning that our housekeeper comes and does. It was like reorganizing the mudroom, reorganizing my daughter's room, figuring out what stuff needed to come downstairs, like switching the kids' clothes, like all the things. So alas, here I am today. The house is empty. I am home alone and finally just starting to wrap my head around what in the world happened last week. It is so intangible, which I expected, right? I'm very familiar with being on the other side of this now, having led the Ascend retreat 3 times, having facilitated small group masterminds. I know, first of all, from a facilitator standpoint, how intangible it is to describe what happens in spaces like this. But it's been a minute since I have felt that way from a participant's perspective. The retreat that changed my life, Rural Rooted, that I went to in 2021 with Natalie Kaborik, it was the same thing. I came home and I was like, nothing has changed, but everything has changed. Like at my core, I'm a fundamentally not even different, but like elevated person. Like there is like crazy magic that happens when you step outside of your comfort zone, go away into a space that's designated for growth with people who are on the same trajectory, who are further ahead of you in so many ways. It's like just breaking outside of the norm of your everyday in itself is super invigorating, right? Have you ever like been on a vacation and you just like come back and you're just like have this like renewed perspective and like appreciation for everything? It's like that on literal drugs, right? The women who were at this retreat, there was 10 of us in addition to Susie. Susie Holman was the leader of the retreat. And my favorite part is just the diversity that existed in our lives and what our families looked like and what our backgrounds were and the type of work that we were doing in the world and the businesses that we're running, but also just in every sense of the term, like, guys, the women that were there would blow your ever-loving mind. Like there were multiple people there who are bringing in over $100,000 a month in their businesses. What? That's so cool. That's so cool. And to hear the stories of how they have fostered what they have and how they do what they do and the things that they've learned and the systems that they have in place and the people that they serve and the mission behind what they're doing, like, first of all, that in itself is like a massive level up. But then we get into like the emotional conversations, right? And there is not a room that I have ever been in or a level of anything I have ever been a part of where I don't walk away going, oh my gosh, we are so much more alike than I thought. There is not a container or a space that I have been a part of where once we start breaking down walls, I don't realize how many similarities exist in the things that we struggle with and the thoughts that we're telling ourselves. And just some of the stories of things that these women have overcome and the way that they have turned pain and hardship and trauma into purpose and meaning, and the way that they have healed in such a way that exudes an energy that is healing for the people around them. Like I'm literally getting goosebumps talking about it. You know, just to also have the reflection back. I think we get in our own heads so frequently, right? We look at, oh my gosh, like, why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? Like, blah, 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 blah. And like, there was so many instances this week where I was so proud of not only the work that I've done from a tangible, business output, pen to paper thing, but like in all of the work that I've done in myself. You guys have been along this journey with me, running so hard in business and then getting to a point where I needed to work on me and start therapy and start unpacking so many things. And there were so many moments this weekend where I was like, I've done it. Like I have done so much of the work. I'm coming into the space in so much of alignment in what my priorities are. Nothing I ever do again will be at the expense of the things that matter most to me. And what a beautiful realization. It's so cool because we come into rooms and maybe you resonate with this with something you've been a part of in your everyday life, or maybe you've been a part of my retreats or my masterminds. We come in with all of these assumptions of everyone else having it all figured out, right? Oh my gosh, they're so much more successful successful than me. They're more beautiful than me. They're more confident than me. Whatever it is, like part of us like reverts back to middle school. And within hours, it's like, oh no, we are all here together for a reason. We may be further ahead in one area and deeply struggling in another. And that is the magic of bringing a group together for growth. Is that we can lean into these different aspects of each other and we can glean energy and confidence and knowledge from the people who have other things figured out. And in the same breath, we can pour into them with all the goodness and the wholeness and the understanding that we have within ourselves. And so it just becomes this literal ball of energy and light. It's impossible to not vibrationally level up in that environment. I know anyone who's been to my retreat, like you can feel it. You can feel from the moment you walk in to the moment you leave that your brain waves are in a different place than when you got there. And gosh, there's a million different directions we could go on like vibrations and energy and blah, 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 stuff like that. But regardless of any of that, I'm putting it in air quotes, woo-woo energy, vibration stuff, like it just recalibrates what you believe is possible. For someone to look at you and be like, you are playing so small. Why? What are you afraid of? What are those limiting beliefs that's holding you back? And to have someone who has no skin in the game, no preconceived notions, no expectations of who you are, what you've done, or who you know, or where you live, be able to extract the goodness from you and reflect it back. It's a mirror, right? Being in spaces like this is like walking into a room of mirrors to see the good and the beautiful and the hard and the ugly, and to see it and acknowledge it and make peace and then decide where to move forward. It is healing. It is empowering. It is nothing short of incredible. It is a miracle to get to do something like this. I know because I think of different versions of myself. Like if you told 2017 version of Emily that I was going to fly across the country to go to something like this, like I would have looked at you with a blank stare. Like, what? So much of what I have done and learned over the past couple of years has been on the other side of my comfort zone. And it wasn't, from 2017 Emily to what I did this past week, right? It's like this slow stepping stone of doing the uncomfortable thing and being okay, doing the uncomfortable thing and being okay, surrounding myself with the people that I wanted to emulate and being okay, and then just continuing to be on this trajectory of growth. But when I say that, I don't necessarily mean in terms of what I think stereotypically we define as success. Right? I think when some of us think about growing or being successful, we think about money, we think about followers, we think about fame, fortune, right? All of that super sexy, flashy, oh my God, look at how great I am. That is not what this is about. My definition of success comes in so many different forms. I want my life to feel incredible. I want to do meaningful work that I love. I want to nurture my physical, mental, and emotional health. I want to be fully present for my family when it matters most. I want to financially provide for our household in a way that gives us everything we need, everything we want, and then more. I want to have the opportunity to give back as generously as possible to all of the causes and organizations and missions that I care about. Success for me now is this full 360 view of life. It plays in this like intricate tandem with each other, right? That's where so often we fall out of misalignment, is when we are chasing one thing and leaving everything else behind. If you were just running after the money, like your mental health is going straight down. So much of my driving force was wanting to do a good job and then therefore be loved and acknowledged and like accepted and enough. And same thing, like every essence of me is what was at risk in the process. It's why so many of us hit this like high level of burnout, because we are chasing so hard for these external forces, thinking, once I do this, then I'll be happy. Once I do this, then I will be loved. Once I do this, then I will be enough. The truth of the matter is, it actually doesn't matter how many dollars you have in your bank account. It actually doesn't matter how many followers you have on Instagram. If you cannot define love and worthy and enoughness and mission and purpose where you are at today, none of that other shit matters, because it all has to come together. Don't get me wrong. I want to have a fat bank account. And I don't think it's selfish that we say that. I had this conversation with someone in my Night and Grow Micromind the other day, and she's in a job that she likes. She can tell she's ready to grow. And we were identifying, okay, what would be some of the factors that like would incentivize you to want to make a change? Like, what could that look like? And she's like, I know it sounds so selfish for saying it, but I would like to make more money. I'm like, okay, rewind. Let's talk about that. Why is that selfish? And she's like, oh, it just feels really greedy to say that I want more money. She's a mom. She has several kids. And so we were talking about all of the things that she does for her family, all of the things she does for her community, which I don't know if any of you live in reality. All of those things cost money, right? If your kid wants to play baseball, that costs money. If you go to the grocery store, it costs money. If you want to go on a vacation this summer, that costs money. Money is an amplifier. It allows you to do more of what you already know and love. And so it is rarely selfish to desire more financial resources to do more of what you want to do in the world, especially in the hands of women. When you ask a woman what she would do with $1 million, I can almost guarantee you everything on that list is for someone else, is for her kids, is for her spouse, is for her community, is for her parents, is for her friends. Like when good money ends up in the hands of good people, it is an amplifier for good. It is not selfish to want to do financially well for yourself and your family. It is a beautiful thing to have the financial resources to serve the missions that you care about, whether that's the nonprofits, whether that's in your business, whether that's just for the people related to you. Coming out of this retreat, I feel all of the same and different all at the same time. There is so much of me and the people I care about and the mission that I care about and the people I want to serve that was like so confirmed, so reaffirmed, like I'm exactly where I want to be. And then there was so much of me that was like, wow, I have really gone through it and I am really good at what I do. And it's time to play bigger. It's time to have a bigger conversation. It's time to level up into what I'm meant to do in this season. And I have known that. I have known that for so long. And I am not going to lie. I have been slowly hiding the essence of who I am and what I want to talk about and the things that I care about for the illusion of peace and safety, which pisses me off because how many times am I saying like, be your authentic self, do your true thing. The people who will resonate it will find you. That's so true. I have worked so hard to foster this space in this community. And I'm so deeply connected to you and to the women that I have been absolutely blessed to work with that I'm like, oh my gosh, what if I do blah, 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 and I make them mad? And it feels ugly, right? To like go into a space where we're afraid that, you know, we are a tribal people to potentially say or do something that will rock the safety of our net and of the people around us feels terrifying. But it also feels a lot like the way I felt when I started, when just sharing on Instagram was terrifying because God forbid like someone not like it or not resonate with it or not understand it. And then, you know what? I did it and I found you. And here we are together, growing and learning and evolving. And as I'm evolving, I want to continue taking you along with me. I want to bring you up to the conversations that are in my brain that I feel like are so important to be had. And I am confident that there might be some discomfort in it. But every single time that I have been open to extending my comfort zone, it has allowed new life into me, into my spirit, and I have evolved. One of the things that I care so deeply about is growth, is open-mindedness. It's to considering a possibility outside of the reality that's directly in front of you. That is what my social media, that is what my podcast, that is what every single through line of my messaging has been all along. And whether it is having the consideration to build a new habit and seeing yourself as a worthwhile human that deserves to take a walk, or whether that's investing in yourself and having the gumption and audacity to start a business that you love, whether that is tearing your business down in favor of what you really want. Like everything I have ever taught on, everything I've ever said has been all about expanding and challenging the status quo, is letting go of the expectations that are holding you stuck, crashing down the limiting beliefs that tells you that it's not possible, seeking information and insight and perspective that's outside what you see reflected in front of you. And everything that I'm about to do is an extension of that. I have evolved past the 2020 Emily that started my Instagram account. I have evolved past the 2022 Emily that wrote the description and intro and outro for this podcast. I have evolved, and yet I have only let small pieces, crumbs of that evolution filter into my work, filter into the conversation. And you're probably sitting here going like, Emily, like you've changed so much. Like I can see blah, blah, blah. I know that every piece of my evolution has been to set me up for what's to come. It's funny because I walked away from this retreat knowing exactly what I needed to do and what I've known I've needed to do for a long time. Oh, ain't that just the way? That's how it was when I went to Rural Rooted. I came home and I told my husband I need to quit my job tomorrow. And he goes, I know. Came home from this retreat and I was like, Andrew, I've been playing so fucking small to keep myself safe. And he was like, I know. Gosh darn it. So the adventure begins. I feel so at peace. I feel so excited. I feel so much gratitude for the space that we hold here together. And I know the conversations that we are going to continue to have are going to continue to flourish and change our lives. They're going to weave in new perspectives. They are going to fundamentally continue changing these small towns that we know and we love. We here in this space are the leaders of our communities. We are the people who can see a vision outside of what's been done before. We are the people who have the openness, the hearts ready for growth and for change, even when it's uncomfortable and scary and not everybody understands. But that's what we do here. That's what we have always done. That's why this podcast is called Gather in Growth, because this space brings together the doers and the dreamers and the visionaries and the thinkers and the freaking leaders. And I'm not sure why it took me flying to Utah to remember that. That's how it goes. That's why masterminds and retreats and stuff like that matters, because it breaks past the safety net that we create in our minds, in our hearts, in our spaces. And it blasts us into the holy, you know what? Everything is possible. Everything is possible. There is no dream on your heart. There is no vision you've been given. There is no idea that has sparked that is impossible. And especially if it sounds completely unrealistic, I promise it is possible. And I hope that whatever that is, that we pursue it together in alignment with all of the things that you care about in your life. That's what we're after. We are whole. We are healthy. We are healing. We prioritize each of these pieces of ourselves as we drive change in our lives and beyond. Something that really stuck with me from this week, I think it was Susie who said, but maybe it was someone else. She said, the most successful, healed, healthy, happy, financially, followers, whatever, however metric of success you define, women that she knows spend 80% of them time on themselves and 20% on their business. What? That's so counterintuitive to what we've been taught. We're taught, grind it out, tear yourself to pieces, put in all of the hours, do the work, and then maybe you'll have time for a bubble bath. BS. We have to be healthy and whole and peaceful and aligned in order to bring our most wild visions to life. So that's what we're going to do. And I hope you're ready. Thanks for following along with this journey. Thanks for being here. Thanks for just being you. I would love to hear what your thoughts are after this episode. Please shoot me a DM. What's on your mind? What questions do you have? What ideas are in that beautiful brain of yours? I'd love to hear them. Until next time, I love you and I am so forever grateful for you. Have I told you today how much I appreciate you? I'd like to imagine this was a meaningful backyard patio kind of chat between friends sipping LaCroix at sunset. If you enjoyed today's show, please take a screenshot to share or forward this episode to a friend. You can also find me at Emily Rushell over on social to continue the conversation. It's truly a joy to hear what tidbits and takeaways made an impact on your day. As always, all links and resources mentioned in today's episode can be found in the show notes listed below or over at emilyrushell.com. Special thanks to my podcast manager, Jill Carr, for the time and love she puts into producing Gather and Growth for this community. What a blessing it is to be on this personal growth journey together. Forever grateful for you.